What if I told you that your morning, the one you've been told is the key to everything, is a lie? What if I told you that the 5 a.m. club, the ice baths, the journaling, the immediate sprint to your laptop? What if I told you it's all built on a foundation of pressure, not purpose, not peace, just crushing, soul squeezing, on pressure? Take a breath with me right now. Inhale and exhale. Do you feel that? That knot in your stomach when the alarm goes off? That isn't the sound of opportunity knocking. For so many of us, it's the sound of a starting pistol for a race we never signed up for. A race against the clock, against our own limitations, against this phantom version of ourselves that's already written a novel, closed 3 deals, and achieved enlightenment all before the sun has even thought about showing up. I remember this one morning. The alarm blared at 4:45 a.m. It was dark, cold. My body was screaming for rest. But the internet guru on my phone screen, with his perfect white teeth and his even more perfect morning routine, promised me that this was the only way. This was the path to success. So I dragged myself out of bed. I chugged the lemon water. I forced myself onto the yoga mat, my mind not on my breath, but on the 87 emails I already knew were waiting for me. I tried to meditate, but the only mantra in my head was a looping to-do list. Each item a little monster gnawing at my peace. By the time I actually sat down to work, I was exhausted, I was anxious, I was already defeated. The day hadn't even begun, and I had already failed. Does that sound familiar? Does it feel like you're constantly trying to climb a mountain that just gets taller with every step? This is the myth of the perfect morning. It's a beautifully packaged, expertly marketed lie sold to us by a hustle culture that profits from our burnout. It whispers that if you're not productive from the second your eyes open, you are lazy, you are unworthy, you are falling behind. And the long-term effect of this, it's not success. It's a constant low-grade anxiety that becomes the soundtrack to our lives. It's a spiritual erosion. We start our days in a state of fight or flight, training our nervous systems to believe that we are perpetually in danger. We trade our inner peace for a checklist that is never, ever complete. We begin to see our mornings not as a gift, but as a test we are destined to fail. And that, my friend, is a heartbreaking way to live. It's time to stop. It's time to burn the rule book and start again, not with pressure, but with purpose. So how do we escape this trap? How do we reclaim the most sacred hours of our day? We have to make a shift, a fundamental earth-shattering shift in perspective. We need to stop asking, what do I need to do this morning? And start asking, who do I want to be today? This is the heart of a purposeful morning. It's not about adding more tasks. It's about aligning your actions with your soul. It's about intentionally choosing to engage in activities that don't just get you ahead, but that make you feel whole. Your core values, what are they? Not the things you think should be important. Not the values plastered on a corporate wall. Your values, the ones that beat in the quietest corners of your heart. Is it connection? Is it creativity? Is it peace? Is it learning? Is it health? For years, my core value of peace was getting trampled by my perceived need for productivity. I thought success meant a chaotic, jam-packed morning. The aha moment for me came not in a flash of inspiration, but in a moment of quiet desperation. I was sitting in my car, parked outside my office, too anxious to even go inside. My heart was pounding from the caffeine I'd mainlined to win the morning, and I just thought, this can't be it. This cannot be what success feels like. And in that moment, I realized my to-do list had become my master. My schedule was a tyrant. I had completely lost the plot. A purpose-driven morning isn't about becoming a productivity machine. It's about becoming more you. If your value is connection, maybe your purposeful morning is 5 minutes of uninterrupted, no phones allowed coffee with your partner. It's not about ticking a box, it's about filling your heart. If your value is learning, maybe it's reading one chapter of a book that has nothing to do with your job. It's about expanding your mind, not your workload. If your value is well-being, maybe it's a gentle walk outside, feeling the air on your skin, noticing the way the light filters through the leaves. It's not a grueling workout designed to punish your body. It's an act of kindness to your soul. These aren't lazy choices. They are radical acts of self-preservation in a world that wants to grind you down. They are the fuel, not the fire. They prepare you to engage with the world from a place of fullness, not from a place of deficit. So let's get practical. How do you actually build this? How do you craft your own intentional morning without it becoming just another list of stressful expectations? The key is to start small. S-O small. It feels ridiculous. We're not demolishing the old house and building a new one overnight. We are laying one single brick. First, identify your purpose for the morning, and it can change. It's not a life sentence. Ask yourself, what does my soul need today? Is it clarity? Maybe your one brick is sitting in silence for 60 seconds before you even get out of bed. Just 1 minute, no phone, no thoughts of the day, just you and your breath. That's it, that's the win. Is your purpose well-being? Maybe your one brick is drinking a glass of water before you have your coffee. That's it, you're not committing to a 2-hour gym session. You are simply hydrating your body. You are performing a single compassionate act for yourself. Is it connection? Send one text to someone you love, telling them you're thinking of them. Before you check your email, before you scroll through the news, you choose connection. The secret is to integrate, not obliterate. You don't have to wake up 3 hours earlier. Find the tiny pockets of space that already exist. Can you swap 5 minutes of mindless scrolling for 5 minutes of stretching? Can you listen to an inspiring podcast on your commute instead of the outrage of the day news cycle? This isn't about a massive overhaul, it's about gentle, consistent redirection. And here is the most important part of this entire process. You must give yourself grace. There will be days when you wake up late. There will be days when the kids are sick, the dog throws up, and all your beautiful intentions fly out the window. And that is okay. You have not failed. A purposeful morning is not about perfection. It is about intention. The goal is not to have a perfect streak. The goal is to know how to gently, lovingly, and compassionately come back to yourself when you get knocked off course. It's a rhythm, not a rigid routine. It's a dance, not a military march. You are the choreographer of your own morning. You get to decide the steps. For so long, we've been measuring our lives with the wrong ruler. We've been taught that a successful morning is measured in outputs, emails sent, tasks completed, miles run. We've been defining our worth by our productivity. But what if we change the metrics? What if we started redefining what early success even means? What if a successful morning was one where you didn't yell at your kids? What if a successful morning was one where you felt calm and centered, even if you didn't cross a single thing off your to-do list before 9 a.m.? What if success was simply feeling good in your own skin? This is a revolutionary idea in our society, to prioritize your mental state over your task list, to value your internal world as much as your external achievements. Think about the ripple effect when you start your day from a place of purpose and peace. How does that change your interactions? You're a better parent. You're a more patient partner. You're a more creative colleague. You're a more compassionate leader. You don't just react to the chaos of the day. You respond to it from a stable, grounded center. You're not just surviving your day. You are intentionally creating it. The pressure-filled morning creates a day of frantic reaction. The purpose-filled morning creates a day of mindful action. One is about being a pinball, bounced around by the demands of others. The other is about holding the paddle, intentionally choosing where you direct your energy. Your well-being isn't a luxury to be earned after you've checked all the boxes. It is the very foundation upon which a meaningful, successful, and joyful life is built. And it starts in those first few precious moments after you wake up. It starts when you decide that your peace is more important than their expectations. That is true success. That is the ultimate life hack. So, here is my invitation to you. Your morning holds incredible power. It is a blank canvas, a new chapter, a fresh start. And you, and only you, get to decide what goes on that canvas. I want to encourage you, I want to dare you to experiment. For 1 week, let go of what you think you should do. Silence the gurus, ignore the influencers, and listen. Listen to that quiet voice inside of you. What is it asking for? What does it truly need? Maybe it needs more sleep. And that is a perfectly valid, powerful, and purposeful choice. Maybe it needs laughter. Maybe it needs music. Maybe it needs to watch the sunrise with a cup of tea and do absolutely nothing. This is not selfishness. This is not laziness. This is a profound act of self-care and self-leadership. It is you taking the reins of your life and saying, I will not start my day in a state of panic. I will not sacrifice my well-being on the altar of productivity. I am in charge here. My peace is my priority. This is your morning. This is your power. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt that little flicker of recognition in your soul, then you're not alone. We are a community of people who are choosing a different way. So please subscribe and join us. Like this video if you're ready to trade pressure for purpose. And watch this next video on title of a related video, e.g., Breaking Free from Burnout Culture, where we go even deeper on how to reclaim your energy. But before you go, I have a question for you. A question I want you to truly sit with. What is one small, intentional act of purpose you can bring into your morning tomorrow? Share it in the comments below. Let's redefine what a successful morning looks like together. Let's inspire each other. Your story, your single brick, might be the permission someone else needs to start building a life of their own. You've got this. I believe in you. But wait, there's something else, something important. I need you to understand the depth of what we're talking about here. This isn't just about feeling a little less stressed. This is about reclaiming your life force. For years, I operated under the illusion that I was a machine. If I just found the right inputs, the right supplements, the right schedule, the right productivity hacks, then the output would be success. I treated myself like a project to be managed, an algorithm to be optimized. And in doing so, I completely lost touch with the human being inside. I was all head and no heart, all logic and no soul. Let me tell you about a woman I know. Let's call her Clara. Clara was the queen of the hustle.
She was a high-powered executive, a mother of two, and she ran her life with military precision. Her morning started at 4:30 a.m. with a brutal workout, followed by a frantic hour of emails, packing lunches, and prepping for her day, all fueled by black coffee and sheer willpower. From the outside, she was the epitome of success, but on the inside, she was crumbling. She was suffering from migraines. Her relationships were strained, and she felt a profound, aching emptiness that no amount of achievement could fill. Her breaking point came on a Tuesday. She was in a board meeting presenting a multi-million-dollar proposal when she completely blanked. The words vanished. The numbers on the screen swam before her eyes. All she could feel was the frantic, desperate pounding of her own heart. She had to excuse herself, and she ended up weeping in a bathroom stall, not because of the failed presentation, but because she finally realized she was running on fumes. She had been for years. She was in a state of profound energetic debt. That day, Clara went home and did something she hadn't done in a decade. She took a nap. The next morning, she didn't set an alarm. She woke up when the sun streamed through her window. Instead of sprinting to her laptop, she made a cup of tea and sat on her porch. She just sat. She listened to the birds. She felt the warmth of the mug in her hands. She did nothing. And in that nothingness, everything began to change. Her colleagues thought she was having a breakdown. In reality, she was having a breakthrough. She started small. Her new morning routine was 5 minutes of sitting on the porch. That was it. But that 5 minutes of peace began to create a surplus. Instead of starting the day $100 in energetic debt, she was starting it with $10 in the bank. And that surplus started to grow. She found she had more patience with her kids. She had more creative ideas at work. The migraines disappeared. She started laughing again. Clara didn't quit her job. She didn't abandon her ambitions. She just stopped trying to be a machine. She started to remember that she was a garden. You cannot scream at a seed and command it to grow faster. You cannot hustle a flower into blooming. You must tend the soil. You must provide water and sunlight and gentle care. You must create the conditions for growth. Your morning is your soil. What you do in those first moments of the day determines the health of your entire ecosystem. Are you poisoning your soil with stress, anxiety, and pressure, or are you nurturing it with peace, intention, and self-compassion? I know what some of you are thinking. But if I slow down, I'll fall behind. If I'm not constantly pushing, someone else will get ahead of me. I understand that fear. It's been drilled into us. It's the anthem of our culture. But let me ask you this. What is the point of winning a race if you have a heart attack at the finish line? What is the value of climbing a ladder if you forget why you started climbing in the first place? This isn't about stopping. This is about sustaining. It's about choosing a pace that you can maintain for a lifetime, not just for a season. True, lasting success is not a sprint, it is a marathon run with joy. This choice, this decision to honor your own humanity, is a sacred rebellion. It is a quiet, powerful protest against a world that tells you that your worth is measured by your output. It's you standing firm and saying, my well-being is not negotiable. My inner peace is not for sale. My soul is not a commodity. Think of the first intentional, peaceful action of your morning as a single drop of water hitting a still pond. That is your moment of clarity. That is your act of connection. That is your breath. That single drop creates a ripple. That ripple is the calm that you carry with you into your first interaction of the day. That ripple is the patience you have in traffic. That ripple is the creative spark you have in your first meeting. And that ripple, it becomes a wave. The wave is the positive momentum that builds throughout your day. It's the feeling of being centered and in control, even when the world around you is chaotic. It's the resilience you have when faced with a challenge. It's the kindness you show to a stranger. And that wave, my friends, that wave eventually joins the ocean and becomes the tide. The tide is the unstoppable, transformative force that changes the entire landscape of your life. It's the deep, meaningful relationships you build. It's the purpose-driven work you create. It's the legacy of peace and strength you leave behind. It is the person you become. It all starts with that one single drop, that one intentional choice in the quiet moments of the dawn. So I ask you again, what will your choice be tomorrow? Will you answer the siren call of pressure, or will you listen to the quiet whisper of your own soul? Will you start your day in a race against the world, or will you start it in a dance with yourself? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The morning is yours. Go claim it. But I know what you're thinking, because I've been there. You're thinking, this sounds beautiful. This sounds right. But how? How do I do this when my life is already so full? When the demands are so high? When the world outside my door is a raging storm? I want you to picture yourself as the captain of a great ship. Your life, your career, your family, that is your ship. And every single day, you have to sail it out into the open sea. And the sea, well, the sea is unpredictable. There are storms, there are rogue waves, there are unexpected currents. That's just the nature of life. For too long, we've been trying to set our course in the middle of the hurricane. We wake up, the alarm blares, and we immediately find ourselves in the thick of the storm, frantically spinning the wheel, reacting to the waves as they crash over the deck. We are constantly bailing water, just trying to stay afloat. A purposeful morning is the harbor. It is the calm, quiet water where, before the sun even rises, you get to check your maps. You get to plot your course. You get to decide on your destination for the day. Not just what you need to do, but where you want to go, who you want to be. Do you want to sail towards the island of patience today, or the continent of creativity, or the shores of connection? You decide in the quiet of the harbor. So when you finally pull up the anchor and sail out into the open sea, you are not directionless. You are not at the mercy of the waves. You have a heading, you have a rudder, and when the inevitable storms of the day hit, the difficult client, the argument with your spouse, the unexpected bill, you are not thrown off course. You can navigate the storm because you know where you are going. You have an internal compass that you set in the peace of the morning. You started the day with an act of supreme command over your own vessel. That is the difference between surviving and sailing. And you have to be fierce about protecting your harbor. The world will try to invade it. Your phone, with its endless notifications, is a pirate ship trying to board you before you've even had your coffee. Your email inbox is a kraken, its tentacles reaching out to pull you under into a sea of other people's agendas. You must be the guardian of your own peace. That first hour, that first 30 minutes, even the first 5 minutes, that is sacred ground. That is your sovereign territory. And you must defend it with the love and ferocity of a warrior. Let's talk about that voice. The one that's probably whispering to you right now. The inner critic, the drill sergeant in your head. The one that says, 5 minutes of sitting on the porch, what a waste of time. You could have been answering emails. You're being lazy. You're falling behind. You need to have a conversation with that voice. You need to look it in the eye and say, thank you for your concern. I know you're trying to protect me. I know you think this relentless pushing is what keeps me safe and successful, but you're working with outdated information. Your strategy is leading to burnout, not a breakthrough. So today, we're trying something new. Today, we are choosing peace as our strategy. We are choosing purpose as our fuel. And you can either get on board or you can sit quietly in the corner. But you are no longer the captain of this ship. This is an ongoing negotiation. That voice won't vanish overnight. But every time you choose purpose over pressure, its power diminishes. Every time you honor your need for rest, its arguments get weaker. You are retraining your own mind. You are teaching it that success and serenity are not enemies. They are, in fact, the deepest of allies. Let me tell you about David. David was a graphic designer, a brilliant artist whose mind was a whirlwind of color and creativity. But his job at a fast-paced agency was squeezing the life out of him. His mornings were a frantic blur of checking competitors' work, responding to demanding clients, and mainlining espresso just to feel human. His creativity, once a roaring fire, had dwindled to a few sad embers. He was on the verge of quitting, convinced he'd lost his gift forever. Then, he started his own sacred rebellion. He bought a simple sketchbook and a pen. And every morning, before he opened his laptop, before he let the world in, he would sit for 10 minutes and just doodle. No agenda, no client feedback, no goal. Just the simple, joyful act of a pen moving across paper. He drew spirals, he drew cubes, he drew the face of his dog. It was pointless, it was unproductive, and it saved him. That small, 10-minute act of pure, purposeless creation was like a trickle of water on a parched landscape. It was a reminder of who he was before the deadlines and the demands. It was him reconnecting with his own soul. And slowly, miraculously, the fire came back. His ideas at work became more vibrant, more innovative. He started to feel that old spark again. He didn't just get his creativity back, he discovered a deeper, more resilient well of it than he ever knew he had. He didn't succeed in spite of his unproductive morning. He succeeded because of it. That is the paradox. The things that hustle culture tells us are a waste of time, stillness, play, connection, reflection, are the very things that are the source of all our greatest power. They are the wellspring of our creativity, our resilience, our wisdom, and our joy. So, when you are crafting your intentional morning, you are not just making your day a little better. You are fundamentally changing the trajectory of your life. You are deciding that you will not be one of the walking wounded, another casualty of the cult of productivity. You are deciding to live a life that is not just successful on paper, but is rich in spirit. A life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. This is your legacy. This is the story you will tell. Will it be a story of frantic, breathless running, or will it be a story of a deep, powerful, intentional walk? The world doesn't need more exhausted martyrs. It needs more whole, vibrant, and joyful human beings. It needs you, not the depleted, stressed out, running on empty version of you. It needs the centered, peaceful, purpose-driven you. The you that has taken the time to tend to your own garden, to fill your own well, to set your own course. And let's be honest about something else. This fear of falling behind. It's really a fear of being left out, a fear of being forgotten, a fear of becoming irrelevant. It's a deep, primal fear of not being enough. And hustle culture preys on that fear. It sells you the lie that your value is conditional, that you must earn your worth every single morning through a display of frantic activity. I want to offer you a different truth, a more powerful truth. Your worth is inherent. It is not tied to your to-do list. It is not measured by your inbox count. It does not fluctuate with your stock portfolio. You were born worthy. You will die worthy. And nothing you do or fail to do between now and then can ever change that fundamental fact. A purposeful morning is an affirmation of this truth. It is you looking in the mirror before the world has a chance to tell you who you are and saying, I am enough, right now, as I am. And because I am enough, I will gift myself this moment of peace. I will honor my body with rest. I will nourish my soul with stillness. It is the ultimate act of self-acceptance. I want you to think about your energy like the seasons of the year. The productivity gurus want you to believe that you should be in a perpetual state of summer, always growing, always producing, always in full bloom. But that's not how nature works. And you are a part of nature. There are seasons for explosive growth, yes, but there are also seasons for rest, for turning inward, for lying fallow. That is winter. There are seasons for planting seeds with intention. That is spring. And there are seasons for harvesting the rewards of your labor. That is autumn. A purposeful morning is about learning to recognize your own inner season. Some mornings you will wake up and it will be summer in your soul. You'll be bursting with energy and ideas, and that is the time to channel that into creative work or a powerful workout. But other mornings, you will wake up and it will be deep winter. Your body will feel heavy, your spirit tired. To force yourself into a summer routine on a winter morning is an act of violence against yourself. A winter morning calls for gentleness. It calls for an extra hour of sleep. It calls for a warm cup of tea and a comforting book. It calls for permission to just be. Honoring your seasons doesn't make you unproductive. It makes you wise. It ensures that when summer comes again, you will have the deep, stored energy to grow and to thrive instead of being a barren field that has been overworked and depleted. Let me tell you one last story. It's about a man named Samuel, an old watchmaker who had a small, dusty shop on a quiet street. Tourists would rush past his window, but those who knew to own one of Samuel's watches was to own a masterpiece. He didn't advertise. He didn't have a website. His fame was a quiet, steady hum that had been building for 60 years. A young, ambitious business student went to interview him, hoping to learn the secrets of his productivity. He found Samuel at his workbench, staring at a single, tiny gear through his loop. The student asked, "Mr. Samuel, what is your morning routine? How do you manage to be so successful?" Samuel slowly looked up, his eyes twinkling. He said, "My morning routine is very simple. I wake up, I make my tea. I sit by the window and I watch the light change. Sometimes for 5 minutes, sometimes for an hour. I wait until the world outside is no longer louder than the world inside." The student was confused. "But what about your work, your schedule, your goals?" Samuel smiled a gentle, knowing smile. "My boy," he said, "a watch is not about making the hands move as fast as possible. It is about making them move with perfect, unwavering precision. It is about creating a harmony between all the tiny, intricate parts so that they can keep true time year after year. My work requires a steady hand and a quiet heart. If I start my day in a rush, my hands will shake. If I start my day with a cluttered mind, my work will be compromised. The time I spend in the quiet of the morning is not time taken away from my work. It is the most important part of my work. It is the moment I calibrate my own soul so that I can bring that same precision and harmony to the task at hand. We have forgotten that we are watchmakers. We are artists. We are creators of our own lives. And our greatest work will not come from a place of frantic, hurried energy. It will come from a place of deep, centered, and purposeful calm. It will come from the quiet harbor. It will come from the well-tended garden. It will come from a heart that has been calibrated in the stillness of the dawn. So, I'm going to extend my invitation one last time. This isn't just about changing your morning. This is about starting your own personal renaissance, a rebirth of the part of you that has been silenced by the relentless demands of the modern world. It is about reclaiming your sovereignty over your own life. So, when you share your one small act in the comments below, know that you are not just typing words into a box. You are lighting a candle in the dark. You are sending up a flare that says, "I'm here. I'm choosing a different way, and I am not alone." And you will see hundreds, thousands of other lights answering you back. And together, we create a new dawn. This is more than a YouTube video. This is a movement, a quiet revolution of the heart, starting one morning at a time. Thank you for being a part of it. Now go and claim your morning, claim your power, claim your life. But let's go one level deeper, because this journey, this rebellion, it requires a new kind of courage. It's not the courage to do more, but the courage to be more. The courage to disappoint people. Yes, you heard me. The courage to disappoint people. When you start honoring your own needs, when you start protecting your harbor, you will inevitably upset the existing order. The colleague who is used to you answering emails at 6 a.m. will have to wait. The family member who expects you to be a whirlwind of activity from the moment you wake up will have to adjust. The world has been conditioned to benefit from your burnout. Your exhaustion is profitable for others. Your lack of boundaries is convenient for others. When you draw a line in the sand and say, "This time is mine," you are not just changing your schedule. You are renegotiating your relationship with the entire world. And that can be scary. We are wired for belonging. The fear of being seen as selfish or not a team player is a powerful deterrent. But I want you to reframe this. When you prioritize your well-being, you are not being selfish. You are being sustainable. An empty well cannot quench anyone's thirst. A flickering candle cannot light anyone's path. By filling your own cup first, you ensure that what you give to others comes from a place of genuine abundance, not from a place of resentful depletion. You give them the best of you, not what's left of you. Think of it as being a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't run around the coast trying to save individual ships. It stands firm, it tends to its own light, and by doing so, it becomes a beacon that guides everyone home. Your job is not to run yourself ragged trying to save everyone. Your job is to tend to your own light so that your very presence becomes a source of strength and guidance for those around you. That is true service. That is true leadership. And this leads to a profound internal shift. You stop seeking validation from the outside world and you start cultivating it from within. For so long, we've been like actors on a stage, performing the role of the productive person, hoping for a round of applause from our boss, our peers, our social media followers. We check our phones for likes, our inboxes for praise, our bank accounts for proof that we are doing it right. A purposeful morning is the act of stepping off that stage. It's the moment in the quiet of the dawn where you sit in the audience of your own life and ask, what do I think of the performance? Does this story feel true to me? Is this the character I truly want to play? You become your own primary source of validation. The feeling of inner peace becomes more valuable than external praise. The sense of alignment with your values becomes more important than the approval of others. This is not arrogance. This is a deep, unshakable self-trust. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are living in integrity with your own soul. And what happens when you do this consistently? You build something called resilience. Not the grit your teeth and power through kind of resilience that hustle culture preaches. That's just endurance. That's just a high tolerance for pain. I'm talking about a deeper, more flexible resilience. The resilience of a willow tree, not an oak. The oak tree stands rigid against the storm, and in a strong enough wind, it can crack and break. The willow tree bends, it sways, it yields, and when the storm passes, it is still standing, its roots even deeper than before. Your purposeful morning practices, the meditation, the journaling, the quiet walk, the moment of connection, these are not just pleasant activities. They are the act of deepening your roots. They connect you to the grounding force of your own inner wisdom. So, when the storms of life hit, a job loss, a health crisis, a personal failure, you are not knocked over. You have the flexibility, the inner resources to bend with the wind, to learn the lessons of the storm, and to rise again, stronger and more graceful than before. This is the hidden superpower of the purposeful morning. It's not about winning the day. It's about building a life that can withstand any season. It's about cultivating an inner sanctuary that no amount of external chaos can ever truly breach. So, as you stand at the threshold of a new day, I want you to remember this. You are not just choosing between a frantic morning and a calm one. You are choosing between a life of brittle reactivity and a life of deep, flexible resilience. You are choosing between being an oak, vulnerable to the storm, and being a willow, rooted in a strength that knows how to yield. You are choosing between seeking applause from a fickle audience and finding your purpose in the unwavering truth of your own heart. The world will always demand more from you than you can give. It will always tell you that you are not enough, that you need to run faster, climb higher, do more. But in the sacred quiet of your own morning, you have the power to listen to a different voice, a wiser voice, the voice of your own soul, and it is whispering a timeless, powerful truth. You are enough. You have always been enough. Your only task is to come home to yourself. And that journey home begins tomorrow at dawn.